Hey everyone, Thorgon here, and today I want to be doing a quick guide about what you can do to level up as fast as possible, or at the very least, what you can do to try to decide for yourself what's optimal in terms of gaining experience and leveling faster. Because, as we all know, hitting level breakpoints such as 5, 10, and 15 are pretty big as you unlock new perk slots for your class that add a lot of power to your character. Now, I just want to go over real quick everything that gives experience and how much. So, to start off, one thing to note is that killing player enemies gives you 0 experience. Killing regular monsters, including mini bosses, will grant you experience varying from 2 to 15. Opening chests will grant between 1 and 5 experience depending on the rarity of the chest. Opening a bookshelf grants 3 experience in some of those hidden bookshelf rooms, such as I believe there are 2 or 3 in the big library room, at least 1 in the mini library room, and a couple more scattered throughout the map. So if you know where those are, opening those will be a quick little boost of experience. Opening portals at the end of the game will grant you 2 experience. Using shrines will grant you 2 experience. Killing any boss gives you 50 experience, and killing any mini boss will grant from 10 to 15 experience. For the portals, if you're towards the end of the map and one of the last few remaining, if you have a quick magical interaction speed such as a wizard, you could just run around between a couple portals, open them all, and get some experience. Now, all these values are taken from the Dark and Darker wiki, so if they're inaccurate, then some of these values will be inaccurate. And I know for a fact that at least a couple of these things are inaccurate, especially for the newer monsters, since it mentions that mini bosses give 10 to 15 experience. But several of the mini bosses, such as the Demon Berserker and the Giant Centipede, have values listed around 4, which is far below 10 to 15. Now, looking at the tier list here, I've organized all the different monster types into how much experience you get for killing them. And for mini bosses, I've organized them in order of what the wiki says you'll get for them experience-wise. So, let's see real quick. For the mini bosses, the Centaur is the only one listed as having 15 experience for each time you kill it. The Wraith is the only one listed as having 10. The Champion is listed as giving 8. The Cockatrice is listed as giving 5. And the Centipede, Demon Berserker, and Giant Worm are listed as giving 4. Now I imagine these values aren't super accurate since a Skeleton Champion is definitely harder than a Wraith, so I believe it would be closer to the 15 side, while Wraith is closer to the 10 side. Cockatrice, I believe, is also fairly difficult. Centipede is fairly easy. The Demon Berserker is also honestly fairly easy. And the Giant Worm, I don't believe I've fought at all. Some of these are more difficult than they're worth, such as the Centaur, I believe, unless you've got a team or a good cheese spot nearby. But some of them, such as the Giant Centipede, Wraith, or Demon Berserker, are easy enough that if you can kill them fast, they'd be worth pulling aside for the experience. Now, 2 of the monsters are within the 5 tier, those being the Demon Dog and Demon Bat in the Inferno map. Now, I believe the dogs are much easier to kill, as you can simply sidestep them and then just swing at them and you'll take them down. The bats are much more difficult because while I believe you can also sidestep them, they're also harder to hit and are a lot scarier considering they have knockback and things like that. So if you can, I would avoid demon bats unless you're ranged and can get a view on them before they start flying at you, so you can just start pelting them with projectiles. Other than that, I believe the demon dog is fairly worth it to kill. Now, a handful of monsters give 4 experience, such as the giant spider, goblin mage, axe skeleton, crossbow skeleton, guard skeleton, mage skeleton, wisp, spear skeleton, and I believe that's the skeleton footman. So a lot of these are still relatively safe to kill. The mage and, well, both mages, the skeleton and goblin mages, can be a little bit more difficult. So depending on what your character's abilities are, they might not be worth going for them just for that extra experience. But usually they are surrounded by a couple adds, so clearing the room with them can usually net you a nice little chunk of experience. Crossbowmen and archers being in the, well, skeleton archers being in the 3 tier, can be pretty simple as long as there's not too much going on around, as if you duck at the right time, then you can just dodge them and approach safely, and they die pretty fast. And as long as you know how to dodge a lot of the skeletons, they can also be pretty safe to farm. The giant spider and wisp are a little bit unique in terms of enemies, and I'm not quite 100% sure on how to deal with those safest yet, especially with the wisp exploding on death and usually being surrounded by a lot of other stuff. Same with the giant spider, well, except for the exploding on death. In the 3 tier, there are actually a lot of mobs, some of them much easier than others, such as the giant bat and giant dragonfly are very easy to take down, but they give you 3 experience, similar to something like a mimic or a skeleton archer. All of the non-mage goblins fall in this tier, so clearing goblin caves can net you some nice experience if you're clearing out the rooms entirely. Mimics are also 3, zombies are 3, and mummies are 2, but they take a long time to kill, even though they're fairly easy to do. So unless you have someone that can swing fast or take them out quickly, it might be best to avoid killing them just to level faster. And then death beetles and death skulls are 2 experience, but they're also super low HP, so taking them out should be a breeze just to get that extra experience. Now, the spider mummy gives 0 experience because otherwise you'd be able to just farm them infinitely from their little spawning pot, and that, I mean, it would be nice, but it would also be kind of lame. And remember, killing other players is also worth 0 experience, so if what you're trying to do is just level as fast as possible, avoiding PvP is the way to do that. Next up, we have the chests, which I believe this mentions 1 to 5 experience, depending on the rarity of the chest, or a corpse if you find one of those on the ground. So I've ordered the chests in each tier and within each tier. So for example, we have the ornate chests of the golden chest, the lion's head chest, the heavy ornate chest, and the bronze ornate chest. Next up, there is the large chests tier, large reinforced chest, large oak chest, flat chest. Then there are the medium chests, just reinforced chest and oak chest. Then for small chests, we have small reinforced and small oak chest. Now, I imagine something like the golden chest or the lion's head chest will give you the most experience. Heavy ornate and bronze ornate, possibly large reinforced or large oak would give you the next highest. Then flat chest is probably on the same tier as the large chests. Reinforced and oak chest probably give you the 2 experience range, and then the small chests probably give you 1. So depending on your character, if you're a rogue with a high interaction speed, opening chests can be pretty worth it to get pretty fast experience. But if you're a lot slower, like a wizard or a cleric, it might be better to just skip the chests for now if you just want experience and go between rooms killing mobs. And in a recent patch, they added breakables giving experience. So now if you find an area with lots of barrels or lots of pots, those are super easy to clear because they give probably 1 to 2 experience depending, and they give you no resistance like some of these mobs, and you can usually find them in pretty good groups. So in some corners, you'll find 4 or 5 pots. Depending on your weapon, you kill them in 1 or 2 hits, and boom, that is 5 to 10 experience right there. Barrels and clumps of 3 or 4, boom, 4 to 8 experience right there just by hitting those a couple times. It's super easy, it's super quick to clear these things to get experience. So what you want to do to get experience varies greatly, I guess, depending on the character you're using. So to reiterate, if you're a wizard or something with a high magical interaction speed and you're towards the end of the circle, open as many portals as possible before you extract just to get those pings of 2 experience over and over. Get a nice little bonus at the end of your run. Or if you see shrines, interact with them. There are some rooms in Inferno or the Howling Crypts that have anywhere from 2 to 4 shrines in them. And since you interact with those pretty fast, it'll be super quick to gain that experience. If you have a high interaction speed, like a rogue or I believe a ranger has an okay interaction speed, opening all the chests you see will be super quick and you'll just gain that experience. And for all characters, you need to decide what units are easiest for you to kill and what rooms are easiest for you to clear. And then just tearing through those rooms as fast as possible will get you experience pretty quickly. For example, if you're a fighter, trying to take on either a goblin or a skeleton mage could be risky because of their high magic damage and your low magic resist, as well as their range. So possibly avoiding those and just trying to run down normal skeletons using your shield or high armor to tank them and just swing a couple times and take them down could be good. If you're a wizard, than trying to hit some of the non-ranged units overall so that you can just kill them before they even get near you and then meditate between mobs. That's a pretty good plan. And again, it's just whatever feels easiest for you. Clear those mobs as fast as possible, extract, and get in the next round. So I hope that gives you an idea of what to do for experience and gives you an idea of how you want to go about leveling your character. And yeah, hope this helped. Good luck out there. Later.